Hi guys, welcome to this lesson on brushes. Now, makeup brushes are one of the most important aspects to achieve a beautiful face. I have picked up 10 of my favorite brushes just for you so that I can help demystify the world of brushes. And here are my top 10 favorites. Number 1 is a foundation brush. Now, this foundation brush is also great to apply your moisturizer with or your skin prep. What I do is I dip it into moisturizer and then blend it on the face. You find that when there's a little moisturizer in the bristles, when you dip it into the foundation, it blends like a dream. Why I love this shape of foundation brush is that it's dense. The bristles are a little shorter. You can see that when I press on it, it doesn't really deform its shape, and this is a really good characteristic of a brush. When you buy a brush, it's good to put it in your hand to see if it's comfortable so they can maneuver around it. This is a great all-rounder. It's easy to wash. When you're doing a foundation and that's a liquid, it's good to get something that's synthetic. Why? Because the product doesn't really stick on the bristles and it's really easy when you wash it out. And when you're doing creams or oils or any sort of liquid cosmetics, it's good to have synthetic because it doesn't allow bacteria to grow. Number 2, concealer brush. I love this concealer brush. It's actually a really mini version of my foundation brush, but smaller and even more compact. Why I love this brush? Because you could dip it into your cream concealer and pretend that it's like a finger and go into the inner corners of your eyes, and you could really get into those areas that you can, usually not get with just by using fingers. And this blends like a dream. It's really great for around the nose and maybe around this area as well. Don't forget, when you're choosing a brush, run it along your eyelids and do this. If you find that it's a little pokey, put it back down again, because we don't have time for bad bristles or bad boyfriends. Number 3, the powder brush. Now, this is the mothership of all brushes. This should be the biggest brush in your makeup kit. Why I love this brush? Because it fits really well in my hand. It actually kind of makes my hand look sexy, don't you think? And it also matches my manicure. It has a beautiful shape. You can run your fingers through it, and it's soft. The most important thing about a powder brush is that it should be fluffy yet firm and soft. And we can do the squeeze test. When we do the squeeze test, we want to squeeze it and see how dense the bristles are, like this. Look at that. And when you have a brush with denser bristles, squeeze it between your fingers like this, and look, it's not even see-through. And it's great because more bristles, you pick up more product, you get your work done quicker, you have a better finish, and it's more even. So this is really great if you're in a hurry and you need to de-shine or set makeup over large areas of your face. Makeup tools work smarter for you. Your powder brush can also be your bronzer brush, or areas where you need to dust, like a décolletage and down your neck. When I first started makeup, my mentors always said natural bristles for powder and synthetic bristles for liquids and creams. Today, however, I find that technology has advanced so much that you could actually use synthetic bristles for powder as well. Brush number 4, the Sculpting or Contouring brush. What's so wonderful about this brush? Again, we have a dense bristle, and also if you look carefully, it has a little slight slant to it, which means that it's designed to be more ergonomic when you're sculpting your face. The great thing about a specialized sculpting brush is the width of the brush. It deposits just the right amount of product onto the area of your cheek like this. No thicker, no thinner. So it takes out all the guesswork. One tip about this brush is that it only goes in one direction, like this. You can put it here, you can apply it here or under your jawline, or maybe a little up your temples like this. Number 5, the blush brush. Look at this brush. It's one of my favorites and I use it all the time, probably for more than just blush. I use it for bronzer sometimes, even contouring if I have to. And look at the way it rests on your hand. Always consider that when it rests on your hand, it's stable and it's not going to go anywhere. I would advise you to hold it further back. Why? Because you have more space to angle your brush and do your makeup on different parts of your face. You could do it in a C, you could do it in a circular motion. It's really good when you hold it further back for ease of use. A great thing about a blush brush is because it has this oval, almost like a shape of a garlic. You squeeze it, you can see that it fans out a little more. Why? Because with blush, you need to pick up less pigment, and having too many bristles will cause you to over-color your face. In my kit, I've got multiple of this kind of brushes, and I could use it even as a highlighter, a bronzer, and even sometimes to blend eyeshadow. This brush is really good when you want to set your makeup for a dewy kind of finish. This is what I call precision powdering because it's smaller than a big, massive powder brush, and it only gets into areas that I want. So I strategize where I want it matte, for example, like here and here. You cannot do this with a massive powder brush because it just gets everywhere. This is for speed and large areas. This is for precision powdering. Brush number 6, the baby slant brush. This little brush will give you big results. What would I use for this? I would probably have a few of them in my kit. This is great if you could dip them in some gel eyeliner or maybe a mascara, and you can create that beautiful, amazing wing eye look, or maybe just a little kitten eye flick. If you have a clean one, which means that it doesn't have any of those wet gel in the bristles, use a clean brush. You can dip it in some matte brown eyeshadow and you can create the most beautiful brows. And look at how thin this is. The thinner the brush, the more precise the line. This has got to be one of the most multitasking brushes. The brush that made it to the top 7 on my list, the flat eyeshadow brush. I love this brush because it's fluffy, it's soft. Remember, I've talked about the sensitivity test when you put it on your eyelids and you tap it. And if you don't feel like it's prickly, that's a good thing. Make sure that the brush is dense so that you pick up more pigment, which saves you time in the application. So a brush with this shape is big enough to cover your eyelids. It's also, I call this the depositor because this is where I would dip my brush into the eyeshadow, and it's the best way to deposit color or pigment onto your eyelid. This is really great to start a smoky eye, or even if you want a light wash of color. Lucky brush number 8. I like to call this the pencil brush because it does remind me of a pencil. Because the bristles come to a point when you dip this brush into an eyeshadow and you run it along the lash line, this is where you get that precision. This pencil brush is great for giving you a soft, smoky definition when you don't want to have a harsh liner. Also, if you think about it, this is the perfect brush to highlight the inner V's of your eyes. This is a great addition for your basic brush set. And brush number 9, we have to dedicate one amazing special brush to your lips. When I do a lipstick, it's one of the trickiest things to do on the face because it's really low down and you need to be really precise. If you've ever wondered how makeup artists create that beautiful lip shape, this is the brush. First of all, it's got a really sharp edge, like this. When you have a sharp edge, it means that you could create a sharp line. And also, you can create a curve or a sharp point on your Cupid's bow. And what I do with this when I'm applying a really precise red lip, I tell the girls to do a fake smile. And what I do is I anchor the brush at the corner of the mouth, and in one confident stroke, you're gonna pull the brush from the side of your mouth into the Cupid's bow to get the sharpest line of your life. And now, lucky number 10, I've got a bonus round for you with a big bonus brush. I call this the jumbo brush. The great thing about this brush is the bristles are short and dense, which means that it picks up a lot of product to cover a large area, like a décolletage, the corner of your shoulders, down your arms, and even down your legs. Now remember, when you apply a little bit of shimmer, it makes your body look more toned. So, you've bought your first 10 brushes. How are we gonna care for them? As a makeup artist, I have at least 100 brushes on set because I've got so many models to do and I really don't have time to do a good wash. On set, I would use an alcohol spritzer and spray it because it dries really quickly, mold it back into place and leave it. The biggest mistake that you could make to kill your brush is to let a wet brush dry standing up. And that way is the best technique for shape preserving for your brushes.